Before swords were forged or kings crowned, before empires rose and fell, there was a weapon whispered about in every corner of the 9 realms, a spear that never missed. Its name was Gungnir, the spear of Odin, father of all. It was not merely a weapon of war, it was a symbol of power, destiny, and the terrible cost of wisdom. This is the true story of Gungnir, the spear that shaped the fate of gods and men. Long before Odin ruled from his golden throne in Asgard, the world was chaos, a void between fire and ice. From that chaos, the first beings emerged, the frost giant Ymir and the cow Audhumla. From them, the world began to form, and the gods themselves were born. But even among gods, there was one who hungered for knowledge above all else. Odin sought not comfort nor rest, but understanding, and he would sacrifice anything to gain it. When the Aesir gods began to craft their weapons and fortresses, Odin desired a weapon unlike any other, not one of brute strength, but of precision, a weapon that embodied his will and never failed him. He turned to the most skilled craftsmen in all the realms, the dwarves, the sons of Ivaldi. The dwarves were master smiths who could shape metal as easily as mortals shape words. They had forged treasures that defied imagination, Freyr's ship Skid Bladnir that could fold into a pouch, and Sif's golden hair that grew as naturally as human locks. But it was to another pair of dwarves, Brokkr and Sindri, that Odin entrusted the task of creating a weapon worthy of the All-Father. In the deep forges beneath the earth, where molten metal flowed like rivers of fire, the dwarves worked. They crafted a spear from the metal of the stars, a metal so pure it sang when struck. They carved runes into its shaft, ancient symbols that bound fate itself to the weapon's flight. When they were done, they presented it to Odin. They called it Gungnir, the swaying one. From the first moment Odin held it, the spear hummed with energy. It was perfectly balanced, as though it yearned for motion. When cast, it never missed its mark. When commanded, it returned to his hand. But Gungnir was more than just a tool of battle. It was a conduit of divine power, a link between Odin and the fabric of destiny. Odin tested the spear in the heart of the heavens. He hurled it across the sky, and the winds bent to its path. When it struck, thunder roared. When it returned, it whispered secrets from the void. From that day, Gungnir became a symbol of Odin's rule, not through brute force, but through control over fate itself. In the ancient rituals of the Norse, Gungnir's image appeared whenever oaths were sworn or battles begun. Before war, Odin would cast his spear over the enemy lines, dedicating the slain to himself. It was not merely an act of violence, but of consecration, a divine claim upon the souls of the fallen. Warriors believed that when Odin's spear flew, death itself followed. But the power of Gungnir was tied to the same wisdom that drove Odin's endless search for knowledge. Odin knew that every gift demanded a price. He had already given one of his eyes in exchange for a drink from Mimir's well, gaining the wisdom of the ages. Later, he hung himself upon the world tree Yggdrasil, pierced by his own spear for 9 days and nights. He did this to learn the secrets of the runes, the very symbols that gave Gungnir its unerring might. The spear that never missed had been baptized in the god's own blood. Its perfection was born not of magic alone, but of sacrifice. Odin's suffering bound him to Gungnir. Every time the spear struck, it echoed that first wound, a reminder that power is never gained without pain. Gungnir's story is woven through the great tapestry of Norse myth. It was present in countless battles, its point glinting beneath the storm clouds of war. When Odin led the Aesir against the Vanir, he cast Gungnir across the sky to begin the conflict. When he swore peace, the spear stood beside his throne as a sign of authority. And when heroes invoked his name before battle, They called upon the spirit of Gungnir to guide their blows. To the mortals of Midgard, Gungnir was more than legend. It was an omen. In the old sagas, lightning was said to be the flash of Odin's spear. When thunder rumbled, warriors whispered that Gungnir had struck another soul marked for Valhalla. Yet Gungnir was not a weapon of mercy. Odin's mastery of it came with a burden few could bear. The spear's perfection mirrored his foresight. And just as Odin could see the threads of fate, he also knew he could not change them. No matter how perfect Gungnir's flight, even it could not alter the destiny that awaited him and all the gods. Odin's foresight revealed to him a future that even Gungnir could not pierce, the coming of Ragnarok, the twilight of the gods. He saw the skies burn and the seas rise. He saw his sons fall, Thor to the serpent Jormungandr and himself to the wolf Fenrir. And though he armed himself with Gungnir, the weapon that never missed, he knew that in the end, even that would not save him. But Odin did not despair. The All-Father understood that Gungnir's true purpose was not to avert fate, but to fulfill it. Its flawless precision was a reflection of the universe itself, an endless cycle where every action leads inevitably to its destined end. Odin accepted this truth, and in doing so, he became one with the weapon's essence. When Ragnarok finally came, the sky split open with fire and thunder. The armies of the gods marched toward their doom. At their head rode Odin, astride his eight-legged steed, Sleipnir, Gungnir gleaming in his hand. The spear that had once begun wars now rode to end them. He hurled it one final time, a flash of divine light cutting through chaos, striking true as it always had. But even Gungnir could not pierce fate itself. Fenrir devoured the All-Father, and the spear fell silent. Yet the myths say that in the new world to come, when the ashes of Ragnarok give birth to green earth once more, Gungnir will return, waiting to be wielded by those who remember its song. Gungnir was more than a weapon. It was the embodiment of divine purpose. It represented Odin's unending pursuit of knowledge, the sacrifice that wisdom demands, and the inevitability of fate. Its power lay not in destruction, but in balance, the precision between life and death, creation and ruin. When you hear the thunder roll or see lightning split the sky, remember the story of Gungnir. Remember the spear that never missed, and the god who sacrificed everything to hold it. Because Gungnir's flight is more than a myth. It's a reminder that every decision, every act, carries weight. Like Odin's spear, our choices are cast into the world, and once released, they never miss their mark. So the next time storm clouds gather and the sky trembles with light, look closer. Maybe, just maybe, you are hearing the echo of a spear that still flies through the ages, the eternal weapon of a god who sought wisdom in pain and purpose in fate.